really starts off with me in that like executive like suit. I was like, this is a cool way to like reclaim like kind of my power and be like the one that in a weird fucked up way is like doing the hurting. I'm not in the business of like being liked by everybody at all. Like, I'd rather be polarizing. Some people really dislike me or some people really like me. But I like genuinely like have no beef with any of the girls at all. Like, not even the KATSEYE girls. No, none. Like, I think Grimes
so cool
is like the biggest like mindfuck moment.
Two, three.
Oh
wait, we'll go like that too. Wait, that's funny. We should put that in there. All right, so first snacks. You said you liked blue raspberry Sour Patch. I couldn't find like the actual Sour Patch.
This is totally okay.
But this
above
okay.
and beyond.
Have you had these like the rope?
I've never had
Nerds
that.
rope.
I've had the clusters.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of similar. And then some Sour Bites like blue raspberry, and then also just like Laffy Taffy.
I've never had Laffy Taffy.
I like spicy and sour stuff.
Me too, except for spicy.
Oh, you don't like spicy?
I like can't handle it. I like fake make myself like it.
Really? Okay, so like have the edge.
Yeah. Because I want to be like, I like spicy food. I can't.
I think these are from Germany, but they said they're big in Slovakia.
They are.
Okay,
Milka.
what are they? Milka?
Yes.
So
they
I got
definitely
some
are.
of these.
I don't love chocolate, but I can say that this is like the favorite.
They're the good chocolate?
This is the favorite.
Okay.
I've never actually tried this. This is crazy.
Oh, you never
like,
tried it?
No. I've only...
We have the exclusive.
Yes.
It's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
I did expect the gummy inside. It's like chewy on the inside.
I like this.
Okay, good.
This is a success.
We have a winner. You like these?
And why is this more sour than this?
Right?
That's funny. But a little too hard. I think Sour Patch Kids are the best American candy.
Really?
Personally. And Reese's. I remember when Reese's first came to Slovakia. Oh my god, world stopped.
Oh my god, line down the street.
Dude, line down the street. Also, like, Starbucks.
Oh.
It's so weird because, like, so many, like, European people, like, we, like, romanticize, like, regular American things, and now that I live here, I'm like, why did I, like, there's, like, a full-on, like, sour punch bite in my tooth. So, yeah, we, like, fully romanticize these things, and we're, like, I was, like, 11, and I was like, oh, my God, I can't wait to go to Target one day.
My God.
I was like, please, like, let me go to Target. And, like, why? Like, I don't know. Like, I
do love Target, though. How did you know Target
I
existed? Like, just from TV?
That's how I learned English. It's like, I would watch, like, American YouTubers.
What? Who?
My Life as Ava.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Literally,
Bethany Moda. Yes! Literally,
Bethany Moda, the first
banger. Bethany Moda, first YouTuber.
And first YouTuber on Dancing with the Stars.
What?
Fun fact, yeah.
Work. She knows her pop culture.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, Lord DIY.
Yeah.
And then, like, obviously, like, later, like, James Charles.
Yeah.
Jeffree Star. Ooh.
Sister
Squad.
Yeah.
The Sister Squad.
Yeah.
Yes. Emma Chamberlain.
Yeah. Tana Mojo.
Tana Mojo
I love
raised
Tana,
me.
yeah. I watched a lot of her videos. Like, I'm, like, the same age as her, but I just loved her videos.
I am younger, and I really should not have been watching.
No, she said she was on Tumblr earlier, and I'm like, when you were 5? Like,
I should not have been watching those videos. I was like 10, and she was like, I got fucked by a toothbrush. And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, is this what adulthood is like?
I was shook watching that at like 18. I was like, oh my God. What did Tati Westbrook say? Time and place. And you did it at my birthday dinner.
So many iconic moments that I got to live through because I was just chronically online growing up. But that's how I learned the language when I was like 8.
Oh my God,
literally on my own. Like, writing, like, because I knew I wanted to be, like, famous. So I was like, my older brother told me, he was like, oh, Hannah Montana is actually American. Like, she's not Slovak. Because they dub everything over.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, I'm going to have to, like, I can't be American, but I can, like, learn English to sound like an American. And so I did that, and now I can speak English.
Wow. That's actually really impressive. It's hard learning a new language. Like, I'm trying to learn Gaelic, which is, like, a dying native tongue. And I'm doing it on Duolingo, and like, I'm almost at a year streak, but people be like, do you know any words? I'm like, not really. I think you have to watch TV. I've heard that watching TV in the language helps.
That's because I can also speak German.
Okay.
But not as well as English because like although I lived in Austria for a year, like it was only a year.
Okay.
And like you need to be like in it. Like you need to be watching things in it. You need to be reading in it.
Okay.
Like,
after I watched, I don't know if you've seen the new movie Honora.
No, but I want to see it. And I don't know what the actor's nationality is, but he like has like a thick accent.
Yeah, I think they hired a lot of Russian actors, but Mikey Madison, the lead, she's not Russian, but she learned Russian for the role, which is crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was like, wow. But anyway, I just watching that movie, they speak Russian in it like a lot, but they have subtitles, and I almost felt like I was learning more Russian watching that movie than like a year on Duolingo learning Gaelic.
No,
like you're kind of watching them say the words over and over. And we'll try these.
Is my retainer gonna come off? Probably.
Maybe. Is it too hard?
This is... Why is it, like, super glue?
I know. I'm scared my tooth going. I got it,
I should do that, though.
Yeah, back teeth.
What would my flavor be? Bitter. People do call me bitter. Maybe you should do that. Of course.
Oh, my God.
Of course, yes. Of course.
I know. I get...
Bitter TM, trademarked.
Oh, there you go. Wait, you should do that. If you come up with a song called Bitter, then whenever people Google like mean comments about you and they have the word bitter in it, instead the Google search will just show them your music video instead of the comments. A lot of celebrities do that. They just like figure out what's the thing that people are saying about them, and then they'll like reroute it to like a video.
Didn't Disney do that with Frozen?
Yeah, Frozen too. Well, allegedly, like, but like that's like the biggest example people use is the Disney Frozen like Google hack. You have a song coming out. Well, you have a music video coming out for it. And can you tell me like what the storyline of that music video is from start to finish? What do you want someone to take away from the music video?
The storyline of the whole song is about like exploitation in the entertainment industry. Like it's about like I've been a dancer since I was 3. So I've had so many experiences in the music industry and outside of like feeling like when you're a talent and like there's people in power, you just like inevitably are gonna get kind of taken advantage of in a sense. Like you're just gonna get pulled a million different directions, and like it can be taxing on like the mental of the person who's like just trying to like I'm just trying to sing and dance. Like that's just what I like to do. You know what I mean? And so like the video is kind of like commentary. It works with the song. On that, and it literally starts off with me in that like executive like suit, which is obviously like I'm the like person. I like thought of that and I was like, this is a cool way to like reclaim like kind of my power and be like the one that in a weird fucked up way is like doing the hurting that I feel like so many like people in power have done to like me and countless of others in the industry. So that's how it starts, and I'm like judging, like I'm auditioning these like 3 other versions of me that are like trying to like be like stars, and I'm just like a weird, like I'm like grabbing my crotch, and I'm just like a weird like perv executive because like it's obviously like a heightened version, but it's just like that's what my whole artist project is about, is like making it like uncomfortable to the point where it's like, oh, like there is something to think about here. I feel like nowadays you have to be so potent and like poignant with like what you're saying so that it registers with people. So that's why like it's so heightened and so like uncomfortable when you watch it, because I feel like it's needed, it's necessary. And the next shot is like me and my like pop star like Ashley O fantasy, and to me that was just like, oh, like, let's just have, like, a parody version of, like, a pop star. Like, what it is to me. Because, like, personally, I don't, like, gravitate towards, like, the pretty pink, like, whatever, like, perfect. Like, that's not something that excites me necessarily. But I think it's so interesting how, like, the juxtaposition of, like, what I actually want to do and what it actually is behind the scenes of, like, this perfect, like, perfectly put, like, beautiful, like, image of this, like, pop star. But on the other side, it takes so much of like bullshit to go through to like present this fact to like the audience. And I thought it would be really cool to like have that like pink like moment on this TV. And I had my little sister come into the video.
Did she film in Slovakia or she was in LA?
She came to LA, with my whole family. because I like also haven't seen them in like a couple months. And so they came, and like, to me, she's like me when I was a kid. Like, that's just what I saw on my TV. Like, I grew up on the Britneys. Yeah. I grew up on like the Christina Aguileras of it all. And like, just like also Britney's story is like, I grew up watching that, but look at what she had to go through. Like, I read her book and I was like, what the fuck? Like, and being in the industry, like, my struggle was nowhere as bad as hers, but like, it is so like prevalent, and it's so weird, like the like underbelly of it all. It's like an interesting thing to think about, especially when it's like, usually it starts as like when you're a kid. So like for me, I was like, I watched Hannah Montana when I was 5, and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna do this. And that's when my little sister was there, and she's like watching like herself basically in the future on the TV, being like, oh my God, this is like the perfect pop star, like I want to be just like her. And then the camera goes into the TV and it like flips around, and it shows like the same pop star like doing the same choreography, but she's like in this black room and she's in like latex, and it's like grittier, and it's like she's like dancing in front of this like person in the chair, and it's just like, you're like, oh, like it's not what it is in reality. And and then like later on it cuts into this shot of like me and my little sister like fully just like lip syncing to the camera, because I think that's when I want people to like listen to the lyrics. And it's like, tell me just how far, push right past the bar, cut right around my heart. And it's like, bar is also like a thing in ballet. So it's like a reference to that too. And it's like it just like cuts in between my little sister and me, like just lip syncing to the camera, like literally talking to the people, being like, why would you like, I'm just trying to dance. I'm just trying to dance and sing. Like, I'm just trying to like be an entertainer. But it comes with so much like fuckery when you're the talent, and like bullshit that you have to go through, which is so weird. And there's so much like power play and like all of these things that you have to like bite the bullet for, and just like be like, okay, well, I have to go through this to like make it. But I was like, I can just make my art about that. You know what I mean? And it's just like an interesting thing to think about. And so that shot is like my favorite shot of the video, because it's like her and me literally, like I was like crying. She like didn't know her lyrics. So I was like, girl,
little sisters will always humble you.
They will always humble you.
They will.
One thing about her is that she did not watch my Netflix show. She does not care. Like, she's like, okay, girl. Like,
that's how mine is. Like, if I'm out and someone recognizes me, she's like, okay, can we go like continue what we're doing? I'm like, you don't think this is so cool? Like,
no, she's like, no.
No, I do.
No, babe, no, I actually don't.
That's so funny.
Yeah, one day I'll win a Grammy and she's gonna be like, okay, where?
You said that the pink hair, was it inspired by Ashley O? Like, just this whole look in general?
No, like not in general. In general, I just wanted to have pink hair because I was like, work. I've always wanted to, and they didn't let me on the show. They like didn't let me on the show. Like, they wouldn't like let me dye it pink, and I was like, what the fuck? And so I got off the show and I dyed it pink, and I was like, this feels good. Yeah. And then I got my extensions in, and I was like, this feels even better. So like that was the inspiration behind that. But with the like Ashley O thing, I just thought, what a gag to, like, everything is so pink and it's just like so like over the top, like kind of like sweet. That's what that look came. But it was like the other way around. Like the pink hair inspired the Ashley O.
Okay.
It wasn't, the pink hair wasn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And do you feel like the pink hair has, like, you know, I always make in my videos, I like talking about the Hollywood hair theory, that I really feel like having hair help, like, not all artists have to have like good, you know, it doesn't always matter, but so many artists, when they have these moments or like eras as they define it, they'll have really defining hair. Do you feel like your pink hair is like or do you feel like it helped you stand out, or you like kind of got in tuned when you started doing it?
I think so. I mean, I don't know if it's like, honestly, when I was like changing my hair, it was like intentional. Like I was like, I feel like I should do something other than like brown or whatever, because I was like, I do, and it also just like didn't feel right for like the music that I was gonna make was gonna be so like over the top, dramatic, and I was like, just to have brown hair with that is like not, like, it doesn't get the same vibe. I think like the pink, when I like arrived on it, I was like, okay, yeah, this feels like a moment, and honestly, like more than that, it just feels like a part of the persona in the project. So I think like people ask me, they're like, when are you gonna like change your hair? I'm like, I don't know if I will. Like, I really like this. Like, I'm gonna stick with her. Like, it's not just an era. I think it's just like there.
What year? Yeah. The title of the song, Superscar, that's like a reference to obviously like becoming a superstar, but it's like a play on words.
It's like, so my co-writer Liam came up with that title actually specifically. And he said it and he was like, no, that's stupid. And I was like, no, that's really good. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yes. I am sure. Because first of all, nobody's ever used it, which I'm like, that either means that it's really bad or that we just like struck gold. But I really loved it. So I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, whatever you think, I really like this. And yeah, it's just like a play on words of like, instead of making me like a superstar, you guys gave me this super scar. But like, every time the chorus comes in, like, there's an overarching message of, like, it honestly, like, makes me sing even louder. Like, it literally says, like, super scar on my body makes me sing. It's, like, I don't care. Like, you can, like, fully, like, fucking, like, push me to the ground. Like, I want to do this. I've always wanted to do this. So I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to keep singing, like, whether I make it into the group or not, whether I, like, you guys like me at this moment of time or not, like, I'm just gonna keep doing it because like that's what I want to do.
I know, even like it, and it's so different like doing like little marketing videos, but I totally understand what you mean, where I kind of had to reach that too, where it was like, I'm gonna put out a video, sometimes maybe my opinion might be wrong or I might not articulate right, but like this is how I felt in the moment, and I have to be okay with people not liking me right now, and that's okay. And like, and that was kind of freeing too. But I love the title Superscar. I think it's a great idea. And I remember at one of my old jobs, they used to tell us when we'd go into brainstorms, they'd say bad ideas only. Like, throw all your good ideas out the window. Only say and that's going to be the most viral. And like those the bad ideas only thing was always what led people to like the most brilliant idea, because they threw away judgment. And when you think something's a good idea, usually it's because you're copying what's already worked. But like if it's like a bad idea, it means that it's outside of the box. And I kind of love like even like the scar that you have on the cover art. It makes me think of when I was at the Sabrina Carpenter concert a few days ago. Like, everyone had these like red kisses on them, and I could see like that like being something that people draw on themselves to kind of identify as like your fan at a concert and stuff.
It definitely felt like iconic imagery. I do like to think about, to me, what pop music is, what makes it so exciting is making like moments. And I'm a super small artist, and like not that many people are paying attention now, but I do think one day they're gonna look back on this and they're gonna be like, this was so cool, and nobody knew her back then. Like I like relate to what you said about like I have to be okay with like not being liked, whatever. It's actually like I'm not in the business of like being liked by everybody at all. Like, I'd rather be polarizing, and I'd rather people like really like, some people really dislike me or some people really like me. Like, I do not need to be the one in the middle, because it's not who I am naturally. And like I've always been a polarizing figure, even in my personal life. So it just would not feel authentic. You know what I mean? So like when it was like the scar thing, I was like, ugh, this is like uncomfortable. And it makes me feel like weird. I'm like, work, that's the cover.
That's art.
Like that's the cover.
You're so cut out for this. Just hearing that, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's someone who's cut out for it. Because it really is, like, I do think part of being in the public eye is sometimes being polarizing, but it does mean that you're making people think or feel something that is confronting. And in terms of, you were saying that you did ballet growing up, and like when I was reading your Teen Vogue interview, it was like in Russia, or like you had Russian ballet instructors, and so you really got thick skin from that. Would you say that that's kind of what has given you this thick skin?
Yeah, I also think like I was raised by a bad bitch. Like my mom is just like the toughest, like craziest, like blunt person ever. And so like that in combination with literally starting ballet at 3, which is like one of the hardest things to do, and like fully like devoting my whole entire existence in life into like making it in that space, which is so hard, and there's like so much competition.
Is ballet big in like Slovakia and
because it's like Eastern Europe?
Okay.
So like I actually started ballet in Moscow. I lived there when I was a kid, when I was 3 for like 3 years. We lived there on and off. It's like all the little girls do ballet in Moscow, and so that's where I started, and like fully just like progressed to be this whole thing. Like it progressed to be my whole entire life as I grew up, because like I just like there's so many things that go into play, but like they're like work, you have the lines, like you have the artistry, like you need to do this, and it's so hard. Like I like made my dad like fucking like break my feet like every night for like 40 minutes. He would put his whole body weight on my feet, and I'm like, so I've been like a weirdly like super tough person my entire life naturally, I think, just based off like my family dynamic. But it always came from me. Like I always like asked them to like, okay, like more corrections, like tell me like what am I doing wrong. Like my ballet teachers had like this mindset of like, I'm not gonna tell you what you're doing right, I'm gonna tell you what you're doing wrong.
Oh really?
Like, you should already know what you're doing. Like nobody has time for that. Like move on, like be better, you know what I mean? Which is like not the best like environment always.
It's good life advice though,
but it is. And same with like the program. I think like I developed this relationship with these girls. I was one of the older ones. I came in when I was 18, and I was I 20? No, like I was just about to turn 20 when I got eliminated.
So you guys were there for 2 years?
I was there for like, almost 2 years.
Okay, wow.
Some people were there for like literally 2 months before you saw them in like public. Like it depends story to story. But I was there from the very start, and I was the one that was like putting in all these extra hours, and like at first the girls literally told me, they were like, you were super intimidating, but one thing that I'm not in the business of is like not being a girl's girl. Like I will be intimidating because I work hard, and I like was raised the way that I was, and so I am super blunt, and like I will tell you what you're doing wrong, but also I will tell you what you're doing right. And I like, you know, like I had to like learn the softness by being like surrounded by all of these girls that like, and like I think they even said it on the show, but I don't remember, but like I think that like I kind of became like a motherly figure for them, because like I've had all of this experience of like I had to be the tough one always growing up, and like because of ballet and everything, so they would like come to me and like ask for advice, and like sometimes those evaluations were like fucking ruthless. Like you were there for a month and you were like trying to do your best, and then you got ripped to shreds. And like my personal like at some point I did get frustrated, because I was like, okay guys, like then fucking tell me how to get better. But usually how I would react was like, okay, all right, like that's your opinion, like that's fine, I know I did my best. But like when you're so young and you've never had experiences like I have in like the ballet world and stuff, like these girls would be torn to shreds after each evaluation. Like they'd be like falling apart, and I'd have to like, they would see me and I was like this like static like, okay, like fuck you guys, like I'll be here next month, like it's fine. And they were like, okay. And I've had like, honestly, the biggest thing for me in the program was like at the end of the program, like each of those girls, I don't want to say each of them, but like so many of them like came up to me and they were like, you've helped me like become like a stronger person, like a stronger woman, and like not like let like outside forces get to me so much, and like have this like confidence that just comes from like knowing that you're doing your best and like you're putting in the work. Because sometimes you have to have that. It's so easy to like say shit about people, but like to put yourself out there is not easy.
I love the quote that's like, they don't build sculptures of critics, like it's like the people who make the things that are remembered, but like the person leaving a mean anonymous comment on TikTok, no one's gonna like go visit their mean comment in like the Louvre museum one day.
That's why I'm like, people are like, oh my god, like you're getting so much hate. I'm like, girl, seriously, like a 13-year-old telling me to kill myself on TikTok is not gonna do it for me. Like if I was gonna kill myself, I would have done it when I was like 12, getting yelled at by like USSR like women, like 60-year-olds being like, you're fit. Like, okay. like I would have done it then. But like, it's just like, you know, like, it's like ridiculous. Like you're going to have, but also to me, it's like a sign like, oh, you're doing something right. Because like people are needing to like tell you shit, you know what I mean?
Because you're probably one of the more like memorable ones too, I guess, just in terms of like airtime for the show. Was there a moment that did maybe like get to you the most, or was there anything that maybe shocked you that it kind of affected you in any way?
No, because well, like, I mean, of course it was like cut a certain way, but I do think that actually the producers of the show like tried to keep the stories pretty authentic. Obviously, there are reputations to protect. There are like storylines to skew a little bit. There are things to cut out for even maybe like no other reason, but just like timeline, like time's sake. So like I know all that. So like when like all those things, I do think that like no storyline was left, like there wasn't like a clear direction. I felt like with what they could do, it was open enough so that people could see the real storyline. And then those that didn't want to see the real storyline and want to just like to paint me out as the villain of like whatever, like that was their narrative. And I'm in no interest to change it. Like, you're fine. Yeah.
And you guys were there for like 2 years. So then that's so crazy too, being like a teenager. Moving to like a new country. That's probably why you guys are so close. You're close with Emily. And I feel, is she younger? I feel like maybe I always get closer to people that remind me of my little sister too.
Yeah, she is kind of, she's just, she's like a little like she's just like a little like a fly. Like she keeps like buzzing. Like she's just like, she always like does things. She's so energetic. But yeah, like that's who I just like naturally got the closest to. Also, we were in the same classes the entire time because we were like in the higher dance levels. So it's I really got close to Megan and Emily, and then Lara, who came in later. Like those are my like best friends forever.
And are Megan and Lara the ones that are in KATSEYE?
Yes.
Or okay.
But I like genuinely like have no beef with any of the girls at all. Like not even the KATSEYE girls. No, none. Like like we all like are completely cool with each other, and I think like it's honestly so excited. I'm gonna go and see them at the Mama Awards, and like I've seen the rehearsal videos. It's gonna be crazy. So like I'm like I wish them nothing but the best, and it's like all good vibes. I think that's what's also keeping me like, this is ridiculous, because I know that behind the scenes, like, we're all just, like, cool with each other.
Yeah. And I guess, like, probably last question about that part of your life. How often were you guys, like, in the studio, and were you filming constantly, or was it like, okay, we know cameras will be here for a week, and then we have training? So it was kind of on and off.
Yeah. There were definitely, like, months where the cameras were not there.
Okay.
A lot of like how the timeline was set out in the show for like the timeline's sake, because like you can't get into like the nitty-gritty of like when who comes in when, but like it definitely wasn't like completely accurate, but like also like who cares. Definitely there were moments where like the cameras were not there for like several months, and then we always got told like, okay, like the cameras are coming in like on these days, like they're shooting for the show. We were like, okay. So like, yeah, we were there every single day. I was there on the weekends too, but like they weren't getting all of that. Okay. And so the show finishes filming, and then what was that gap between the show ends, how long until it came out? And then you said like you filmed the Homewrecked video before. So did you like go home for a little bit and then you came back to LA, or did everything happen quickly? It was... So I got off the show in September 2023, and it aired in August 2024.
Okay, so it was a year of like waiting. Is that nerve-wracking, like waiting for the cut to come out?
No, because I was honestly so done with it. Yeah. Like I was like, fuck, like it's been such a long time. I'm like almost 21 now. And I started when I was like, I auditioned the first round when I just turned 18. Wow. So it was like 3 years of my life. And that year, like for me, I didn't go home. I only went home for Christmas. What I did is I finished my high school because I had to drop out of high school for the show. So I finished that. I applied for college, and I like was doing sessions because I knew that I wanted to like put something out for when the show was going to come out. But it like the training like strips you of your identity in a lot of sense because it's like for a group. So it's like very like put on you like what you need to do. For me specifically, because I am also like a polarizing figure, they literally told me, they were like, we want you to stop acting like this.
Oh, really?
like I had to like fully like change everything about myself. So when I got off of the show, I was like, woof, like I don't know what the fuck I want to do. Like I know that I want to have songs on, I know I want to do music, and I know this is my calling, but I need to like do sessions, make songs, and like find out what my actual artistic direction is going to be. And so that was that year. And it sucked. It like sucked because I didn't know anybody in LA. Like because the program was such a bubble. So it was really hard. But one thing that I'm so lucky and like grateful for is my family like supports me in like doing my artist project and stuff like that. So they were just like super patient. They were like, just like find it, like find your music, like find your sound. And I had to like just work with like creatives, like random people that I like just got into the session, and the producers were like, oh, she's like a good writer, because like nobody knew, like the show wasn't out, so like it wasn't like, oh, we want her in our session because she has clout, like no. And it's like everything in LA is so like numbers based and like weird. So they were like, who is this random bitch in the session? But then I would like write, and they're like, oh my god, you're a good writer. And I'd be like, yeah, like do you want to produce for me, and like whatever. So that's how I met Liam in like one of those sessions, and we wrote Homewrecked together like June. And so that's when I was like, okay, this is the first song, and that's the vision, and like we need to.
And did you know that you wanted to release it when the show came out?
Yes.
And so the Homewrecked visualizer we saw was kind of like nitty gritty. What was your direction with that? Like, did you know that you kind of wanted, I guess it is even what you were saying with like the Ashley O, the contrast of like the pink, like bubblegum hair, but then kind of this like gritty storyline.
I think for Homewrecked specifically, in my head, like I will be like putting out an EP, and it's going to be like song by song, and it's like a chapter by chapter thing. And I almost want to make it like a storybook of sorts. Where it has these like interludes in between each song that are gonna like explain the journey of the character. But Homewrecked was like the character's like prequel. It's like, this is who this is. Like, she's clearly deranged. Something is wrong. Like she wants to kill this mistress. Like something is wrong. But she's also a performer because we did a dance performance for it. And so then Superscar is like, the story now is like, okay, like she left that dark past and she wants to become a star. It's almost like a Maxine-esque story. And she's like, she now wants to become a star, and now she's getting fucked by the industry too. So it's like, in a sense, it's like authentic to what I went through, and like I always write from real experience, so it is real stuff that has happened, but it's so dramatic and like so like the like top like 0.5% of what I was feeling, like just like the worst of it, because that's like what I think is exciting. I also come from theater, so I'm dramatic as fuck. So like that to me is exciting. And
your next one's Machine Girl. Okay. And is that like once you're like in the machine, like now you're like a product that's going to be sold, kind of?
Now she's like a machine. She was sold, and now she's having to like come to terms with people like perceiving her. And like not only did she have to deal with those like the like background and like the music industry side, but also now it's like the people that are perceiving her, and they're like suddenly like against her too. It's like getting like all of these different perspectives, and then the idea is like the next song will like dive into like what she's feeling internally and how that affects a person's like psyche. It's like a real story. Like I went through all these things in real time. I'm writing songs about it, but also it's like put on this persona of like this pink-haired like crazy ass bitch.
I love it.
That's, I guess, me.
And do you what have you had like labels reaching out or interest? I guess you might not be able to say. I'm just because when I also heard one of your songs, it was on Spotify's. They have this one playlist that for people that are like unsigned. I had been following you from the show and I'm like, okay, this song is good. So have you had like maybe some people are interested? And
there's been like, I mean, the response has been like really, really good.
Okay.
I'm actually grateful. It hasn't been like a meteoric rise. Like I haven't had like a crazy viral song, which is always scary because I hear of like horror stories of like people getting that and then like they sign to a label and then the label is like, okay, now recreate that.
Yeah.
And then when they don't, they like get dropped.
Yeah.
So that hasn't happened. So like the songs are doing well, but it's coming from like a real organic like fan base of like people just being interested in what I do from the show. And also, like, then my art keeps them there.
Yeah.
So the people, like, from the industry side that have reached out and, like, the labels, there's been so much good attention from those sides. But it's also, like, a difficult situation to figure out.
What has the response been like from other artists? I know Grimes has been like in your comments. Have you gotten even just some engagement from artists where you're like, okay, maybe I'm finding, like these people are finding me as well?
I definitely have. I think Grimes
so cool
is like the biggest like mindfuck moment.
Yeah.
Because like we've talked and she's just so nice. And
I wonder if she watched the show. Did she say she
did?
Has? Oh my,
that's how she found me.
It's so funny thinking of like certain artists like just sitting down and watching TV like us. But that's okay.
That's like how, and like all of like the, I guess, quote unquote, like famous people that like follow me. I think it's all from the show. But it's like, it's interesting for sure. But she's obviously the coolest person alive. And like, it's just crazy because like we've talked and she's given me so much good advice. And it's honestly like so nice to have like somebody who's like so good at what they do and like who's like quote unquote like made it like just be like, you're doing really good and you're cool. And I'm like, you're Grimes.
Oh my God, right?
Like that's crazy. Like yeah, she's been so nice and like just the like most creative and like like honestly like really like giving. Like that's been crazy and that's probably my favorite interaction I've had so far because I just think she is so boundary pushing and like her entire career is just so interesting and I've been following it for a long time, and that is a person that my little sister loves.
And then I love asking people this, do you know what your big 3 in astrology is?
Yes.
Okay.
Sagittarius sun.
Okay. Oh, your birthday's coming up soon.
Yes, November 27th. I'm turning 21. It's about time I get crunk in LA.
Yeah, because now you're in America, so it's 21. Okay, so Sag sun and then moon.
Sagittarius sun, Capricorn moon.
Okay, that makes sense for like the work ethic.
Yes, Pisces rising.
Pisces rising. Okay, that makes sense too because Pisces is any water sign is usually really good at like music.
Oh, word.
Yeah, but Pisces is the 12th zodiac on like the zodiac. Again, I always have to preface because like the astrology community is so cutthroat.
Oh,
you guys, I'm not an expert. Like they will come for me.
They will come for you. They will.
You don't want to make enemies with the astrology community. But Pisces is like the last sign on the zodiac wheel. And so usually people with Pisces placements, like if you're woo-woo like me, it's like people believe that they've lived like a lot of lives, so they're like the 12th sign, so they're usually like good storytellers. They're the person in the community who has like all the old wise tales to kind of like tell the others or warn others, or and like it kind of makes sense with your even like your debut music almost being like a cautionary tale for like the younger pop stars. That's very like Piscean energy.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wait, you ate with that. That is beautiful.
I'm gonna get so many comments. Actually, but no. Okay, and then Capricorn moon. Capricorn is obviously an earth sign, so very like that makes sense for like the work ethic, and also earth signs are very tedious. Like something like ballet to me would be hard because I'm like all air sign and like I feel like I would get bored. But that earth sign in you is like the one that can show up every day and like be okay with the boredom and like the rigorous. Okay.
I love
a discipline.
I love a good like actually my Sagittarius sun, I think I'm the worst time management person. But what I can do though is when you tell me what to do, oh my god, I will do it house down. Like,
okay.
I'm like hyper focused.
Okay.
My co-writer Liam has ADHD. And like I've had ADHD accusations because he's like you don't manage your time well, and I'm like it's not that, that's my Sagittarius.
Yeah, that's my
I need somebody else to like tell me what to do. Yeah, that's why in the program I was like work, like this is great because they give you a schedule and you follow it, and I'd like stay for 5 more hours just doing the same exact thing, like just like the same dance move, the same like arrangement. Like I'm like yes,
okay,
I'll work myself to the bone, but you need to tell me.
It must be hard being like an independent artist in some way. Like for me, that's hard. Like again, I don't mean to keep relating. It's just like easy for me to relate it. But like even now that I'm a creator, I have a talent manager who's kind of a sounding board. But like I actually miss being in corporate America because I had a boss that would like tell me like what to do every day. Yes. Like I know that sounds bad, but I was like, I wake up and I'm like, am I doing good? Like what's my schedule? Yes. Like you have to give yourself that, and it's hard.
No, like that's real.
Yeah.
That's real. You just want like
the discipline, like the schedule. It is nice to have. It's like milestones in my head too, to be like, okay, by 2 p.m. I need to do this. By 5 p.m. it's nice to have those.
It works for me when I make a list. That's when my day is really productive. But like otherwise I'll be just like floating around and I'll be like, okay, let's do this and then let's do that, and like nothing, like I need like to write down a list or I like won't get anything else done. Yeah. And now I have like a team, so it's like better.
Okay, well that was great. Oh my gosh. This was good. Okay, yay.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.